Hi everybody, good afternoon if you're joining us from Singapore, and good morning, good evening if you're joining us from overseas. Welcome to NTU Open House 2023 breakout session today, where we'll give you a sneak peek into student life here at NTU. I am Marcus, and I'm a Year 1 business student at the College of Business, Nanyang Business School here in NTU, Singapore, and I'll be your moderator for today. Today, we've invited 6 students to share their experiences and answer some of your most commonly asked questions about university life and life in NTU in general. Joining us today is also a very, very special guest. Everyone say hi to Leon. Hi, Leon. Well, Leon is our school mascot, and he'll be joining us for our panel session today, as well as our physical open house happening on the 25th of February from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For now, Leon seems a bit hungry and has to go for lunch, so we have to say bye to him. Everyone say bye, Leon. Bye. As Leon makes his way out, let's go through what we'll be discussing in today's live panel session. In today's live panel session, we'll be touching on several topics such as hall life, CCAs, as well as student life in general here in NTU. Do feel free to leave your questions in the comment section below, and we'll try our best to answer your questions during the panel session. Before we dive into the main part of our session, where everybody is interested and here for, let's get our panelists to introduce themselves, shall we?
Hi everyone, my name is Yongjun, and I'm a Year 1 student teacher, currently in the Bachelor of Arts Education Teaching Scholars Program at the National Institute of Education, also known as NIE. So the NIE is an autonomous institute under NTU, and currently I'm specializing in Chinese language and literature.
Hello everyone, I'm Sophie, and I'm an international student from Taiwan. And currently I'm studying Year 1 Business at Nanyang Business School.
Hi everyone, I'm Akshay. I'm currently a Year 3 student studying Linguistics and Multilingual Studies in NTU School of Humanities.
Hi everyone out there, I'm Kim. I'm a Year 3 student studying Communication at NTU's Wee Kim Wee School of Communication and Information.
Hi everybody, I'm Jordan in Year 2 Computer Science studying in the School of Computer Science and Engineering.
Hi guys, I'm Edna. I'm a Year 2 student from the Wee Kim Wee School of Communication and Information.
Well, first let me start off by thanking everybody for taking time off to join us on a Saturday, and for, of course, our audience at home who are joining us live as well. Let's start off with a very simple yet important question that I'm sure all prospective freshmen would ask, which is, why did you choose NTU? What made you decide to choose NTU against all the other choices available in Singapore and in Asia? Perhaps we can get Edna to share first.
Okay, so NTU was actually my first and my only choice because I knew right from the get-go that I wanted to do communications, and I felt that the communications course here had a wide range of skills for me to pick up, but at the same time, enough specialization for me to master one specific skill. Academics aside, I also felt that NTU had a lot of different CCAs for me to try out, and I wanted to make the most out of my university life before going to work. So that's why I decided to come here. Yeah.
I resonate a lot with Edna, so I decided to choose NTU because of I wanted to broaden my knowledge about engineering, especially in the field of computing. And also, given that NTU is one of the top universities in Asia, I decided to give it a shot because their courses are very diverse and very broad and very well developed. So I also decided to stay because I was offered hall stay, and then this definitely saves a lot of time during travel between campus and school.
Yes, I definitely second with what Jordan said. I think for me, convenience is a huge factor. So having the option to stay on hall in campus was a huge decision for me. And since I don't have to save a lot of time on traveling, so I was like, sure, why not just do that? I think for me also, I really wanted to study communications too. So NTU Wee Kim Wee was a really great choice for me. Fun fact, by the way, NTU Wee Kim Wee is the top communication school in Asia. So feel free to join us.
Okay, I definitely echo the sentiments of hall stay. I think hall, I really wanted to stay in hall because it allows me to be a bit more independent. But beyond that, it's more of I was really interested in the modules that I guess NTU had to offer for linguistics. And yeah, that's why I chose NTU.
For me, that I choose NTU is because it's a global leading university and it offers me a wide range of courses and opportunities for me to choose on. And for me as a business student, we only need to study 3 years in university. So that is really a great opportunity for me to explore. Yeah. Then as an international student, NTU is one of the top Asian university. So I think for the international students out there, choose NTU. It will be your best choice.
For me, what attracted me to joining NTU was the NTU NIE Teaching Scholars Program, because since young I knew that I wanted to become a teacher, and I think that the Teaching Scholars Program has a lot to offer. So for example, now I can get to bond with like-minded people, and from there we can get to learn and share our experiences together, as well as to develop on our leadership skills in education as well. So like I mentioned earlier, the scholarship program has a lot to offer, including one, the undergraduate research on campus experience, which is also known as Eureka, as well as overseas semester, as well as practicum exchanges as well. Yeah, and also for us, because it's a scholars program, so we are guaranteed hall stay as well.
Wow, wow, wow. It seems that everyone has so many reasons and so many opinions about why you should come to NTU. I'm glad to hear that everybody here is committed, and we want you to join us as well, so you can come to our physical open house on the 25th of February. I really hope this helps you have a deeper understanding on why you should choose NTU. So let's further unpack the different reasons of why an individual would choose NTU, starting off with the transition to university life. So, for our freshmen on the panel, Yongjin and Sophie, how was the transition from JC and Polytechnic like to NTU, respectively, and what were some challenges you faced, and how do you overcome them?
I think for me, the biggest change was definitely in terms of student life, because I knew that in uni, I really wanted to make the most out of my uni life, and I wanted to experience a lot of different things. So for me, I took part in a lot of CCAs, hall activities, and such. So definitely with all these activities that I take part, I also need to be mindful of, for example, things like time management. Yeah, I need to really ensure that I plan my time out effectively, such that I can get to enjoy such activities, but at the same time, it does not affect my academics as well.
I think I totally agree with Yongjun. And for me, I was from JC, which is known as junior college. From international student is like high school in your country. So for that, junior college, the life is really different from universities, as you know that, because all of us will mostly have the individually like assessment at the end of the semester instead of like the ongoing project as well as teamwork throughout the whole semester. So for me, the biggest challenge is time management. So for time management wise, I kind of have problem with managing my individual assessment like deadline as well as the teamwork and presentation as well. So after a few weeks in semester one, I kind of adapted to the new norm. So I try to maximize my spare time, my free time, so that I can finish my individual assessment as soon as possible, and I can spend more time with my group mates and finish our presentation and project work as well.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing, guys. Now, indeed, transiting to one environment from one academic environment to another can prove challenging, but I'm sure with a comprehensive support system, all of us can do it. Now, for some of us, the transition isn't going from one academic environment to another, as I'm sure some of us here may relate to. It's about preparing ourselves for the academic rigor of university after completing national service. Now, turning to our male panelists here on our panel today, what was the transition like for you from NS back to studying? And what kind of advice will you give incoming freshmen to cope with the transition? And what were some steps you did or wish you did before coming to university? Let's start off with Akshay.
Okay, yeah, sure, Marcus. So I think, for me, NS is quite a while back, I would say, but from what I remember, it was a very sudden shift in lifestyle because you're really spending the 2 years of NS not really doing any like studies or anything. So for me, the best way to transition into uni was definitely joining like orientation programs, because I think that gives you like the chance to meet people of your batch and like seniors and get like basically just have a support system to help you through your first year, right? And for those of you who are like scared about not being able to catch up with your acads, I mean, you can kind of, like study first before uni, but personally I would say make the most of your time before uni because you have 3 to 4 years ahead of you anyway.
For me, I think I've got to be very honest, right? I did not do any pre-preparation before coming to uni. So like after I graduated from Polytechnic, I didn't really touch any of my study materials. So definitely, I think the change from the transition from NS to university life was, I would say, quite daunting for me, because there are a lot of things that I might not have learned before. But I think my advice would be not to worry so much about it, because for me, I was very lucky. I had a lot of very welcoming professors, as well as friends as well. So they are always here to like guide us, and like they would always check in with us on our like learning progress, on what's our prior knowledge. So it really helps us. It really assures me that I won't be losing so much. Yeah.
So my advice to all prospective undergrads or incoming freshmen is that pre-planning is essential. You know what they say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Yeah. And also do familiarize yourself with the platforms such as Outlook, Blackboard, or like NTU Learn, because these are the sites where your module announcements will be actually posted, and also you will also get orientation programs sign up links also. So do keep a lookout for them. And also at the same time, do start early, so because there's an avalanche of information. So do take bite-sized information so that you don't feel too overwhelmed.
Wow, thanks for sharing those insights, guys. Well, for me, I echo your sentiments completely. When I first came to NTU, I didn't know how to use Outlook, and I was flooded with so many emails. It was only when Jordan came along and he told me how to set up filters and inboxes, then I realized that, technology is such a wonderful tool, right? All right, so for me, myself as well, I would recommend that different individuals or our fellow NS men or NSFs, or soon to ORD NSFs, use your post-NS credits to enroll on courses, which this allows us to refresh on certain concepts after a long 2-year break from studying. All in all, managing your time as well as seeking out sources are some ways that freshmen can do to help ease the transition back into studying again. Now, as we heard from our panelists today, a common vein among the responses seems to be the sense of community and support system that we found within our communities. And a big part of that comes from the community building factor that is from the orientation programs. So let's just do a quick poll amongst our panelists here today. How many of you attended an orientation program organized by a CCA club? Can you raise your hand? We have one, that's right. How about faculty orientation? Hall orientation? See? So coming for an orientation program is an integral and essential part of the NTU student life experience. As you can see, there is a variety of programs that students can participate in, appealing to different interest groups. This year, we had our first physical orientation in a while. What was the experience like from both a participant and a point organizer's point of view? Let's bring this question to our panel, shall we? Let's start off with Sophie.
Okay, so for me as a freshman, I have joined 2 orientation programs. One is from my Hall 3 orientation program, and as well as the MBS, Nanyang Business School Infirmary program. So for the hall orientation, I get the chance to meet the people living in my hall, and as well as the seniors living in my hall as well. So for the Hall 3, it is very famous because of the sports culture over there. And we have a vibrant, a lot of opportunities that we can get to exercise. So throughout the program, we have a very, very significant event, which is the initiation run. So we get the chance to run 6 km around the school. And throughout the whole run, actually, like all of us get the time to bond like with each other. So after the run, everyone is really close to each other, and we are like cheering each other up like throughout the whole semester as well. Yeah. Then for Infirmary, it is a very special program in MBS. Is because that the seniors will organize speaker series, so they will invite speakers from other companies, like regardless of whether they are interns or they are the full-timers over there. So they will share their experience out there in the workplace, and as well as their experience back into uni life. So throughout the whole 2 orientation program, I really learned a lot from the seniors, as well as like get closer to my batch of students. Yes.
I think for me, just like Sophie, I attended both my faculty's orientation program as well as my hall's orientation program. So for my faculty orientation program, which is the NIE Transition Orientation Program, I got to interact with a lot of other individuals who are from different subject specializations. So I think it's a very unique way to like get to know everyone better. And like I think by the first week of school, I was already very adapted to the school culture. Like I knew like who do I go to in terms of like academic help and stuff like that. Yeah. And then for my hall orientation, because I'm in Pioneer Hall, so I think the Pioneer Hall orientation was definitely a very fun experience for me, because we had a lot of physical activities, something which I really look forward to after the COVID pandemic, right? Yeah. And I think the hall orientation programs really help you to build a very strong and very strong culture especially in terms of like helping each other out. So for example, if I need help in like, let's say I want to get some food for my friends, I can just easily go to my friends for help. Yeah, and just to give you all a sense of like how bonded I am with my OG now. Actually, we are orientation group now. And we are currently like planning a trip to overseas, like for the next semester break. Yeah, so I think that's really very nice for me.
That's very cute, hearing from how bonded you guys are from orientation. So I would like to share my view lah, as an organizer from Hall 5 orientation program. So our purpose as an organizer is actually to reach out to all incoming freshmen and also at the same time make them feel included in the community. So we would like to expose them to different committees that we have in Hall so that they know what is the point system in Hall and how do they get to stay in Hall for the next year. And also we will also answer them common queries that they might have about school. So for example, if you're not too sure what does your timetabling means, like what is LHR, all these abbreviations, we'll be able to help you share some tips and hacks. And if you are in the same courses as your seniors, they might give you modules or like modules or tutorial help if you really need it. Yeah.
Wow, thanks guys so much for sharing. Those are some really fascinating examples, and I'm really envious of you, Yongjin. I also want to go overseas, but I haven't had the opportunity to. So I'm hoping that if my orientation friends are out here watching this live stream here, please let's go overseas together like Yongjin. Like we have a precedent that we have to meet, all right guys? Now, as a global leading university, NTU has quite a number of international students as well. After all, we are one of the fastest rising young universities in the world. Now, we have a very, very special guest with us here today as well, Sophie, who is an international student from Taiwan, who spent several years studying in Taiwan before coming over to Singapore, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, then it will be a natural question to ask, do you have any tips for international students coming to NTU to study, and how was the transition like from you going from a foreign environment to a new environment?
Definitely. Thanks, Marcus, for the intro. Then for me, I came from Taiwan. So in Taiwan, our main language is actually Chinese, as you guys know that. So my biggest challenge over here when I just first came to Singapore is that the language problem. So I kind of had to adapt to the English speaking speed like by the locals as well as the Singlish especially. Like all the la, lo, le, le, I cannot really understand. I can't really get it. So, but for me, I don't give up so easily. So I try to adapt to the new norm. And so I hang out with my local friends as well as that I will join some of the activities out there offered by the community clubs in Singapore as well as schools. So throughout my experience, like bonding with all my local friends, I really find that Singaporeans are really, really friendly. So don't hesitate to ask any question if you have during your life in Singapore. Yes. Then secondly is that when you first come to university as a freshman, as an international student, do join more CCAs because CCAs will actually give you a lot of opportunities to meet the locals as well as to get to know the culture of the Singapore. So as you know more about it, you will find that Singapore is really a beautiful city to stay. And it gives you a lot of opportunities, like including like internships, especially if you are studying business. And like they will give you a lot of chance to go out overseas, especially like Malaysia, because it's so near to Singapore. So yeah, so Singapore is really a great place to study and to stay. So just come to Singapore and join us.
Thank you so much, Sophie. So next time, all of us can quiz you on our la, lollies, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's true.
Sophie, what's your favorite Singlish word?
My favorite Singlish word kopi o.
Oh, kopi o.
Kopi O. So to our international audience out there, if you want to find out what Kopi O is, just do a quick Google and it can be a secret between us, the panelists here today, and you today as well. Now, we'll move on to the next segment of our discussion, which is another exciting topic in student life and school life here in NTU. We'll be discussing the various CCAs available here in NTU. There's really a wide variety of CCAs that is available for us to join. In fact, did you know there are over 120 student organizations that prospective students like yourself can join when you enter NTU? In NTU, there are 4 main CCA bodies, which are namely the NTU Student Union, the University Cultural Activities Club, the Sports Club, and the Welfare Services Club. Additionally, school CCAs, academic clubs, and hall CCAs are also available for students to explore their interests. So, let's turn off to some of our panelists here today to share about how they are involved in student life, how they manage their time, and what activities they have done to make their student life much more exciting other than studying here in NTU, shall we?
Oh Yes, I have something to share. Okay, so actually I was a little bit of a busy bee during my years in university. During my first year, I actually joined NTU Student Union Committee. I joined UOC, which stands for Union Orientation Committee. So for that, what happens is it constitutes one of the big 4 CCA clubs where you can join for like a welcome to NTU kind of orientation program. So what we do there's usually 8 clans and you'll be allocated to one of them. So personally, I came from the blue one, like we are called Z clan. It was really fun because unfortunately during my batch, it was still during the COVID pandemic. So things were kind of shifted online. But lucky for you, when you come to NTU, things will be back physically. So you look forward to stuff like beach activities, games, and like a lot of fun stuff to do all around school that the seniors will be more than happy to bring you around to do. Then, in my second year, I did 2 things. So the first one that I did was I continued on my journey in NTU Student Union. So while I was there, I actually joined the executive committee and served as the vice president communications in that term. So especially if you're interested in things like publicity, communications, media, this is the place for you to go. So we have 18 different committees in NTU Student Union. So the one that I was in charge of was the communications committee, as well as all other publicity efforts across our other 12 committees. So things like banners and like videography, photography, social media. So on NTUSU's Instagram website, these are all things that I kind of managed over the years. So we will push up publicity materials regarding like welfare events, policy changes, and anything regarding school life. We're just like there for the students. Then at the same time, in my second year, I was also the school advisor for my school's management club called Communication and Information Club. So what I do there is work closely with the president and organize like welfare events and also like push and advocate for students in our school.
Wow, heard from Kim, she has a lot of experience because she's a senior. So I can't wait to look forward to my future CCA trips in NTU. So for me, as a freshman, I only joined 2 CCAs in last semester. So one is Isaac, another one is RSPID from Welfare Service Club. So RSPID stands for Regular Service Project for Intellectually Disabled. So for my first CCA, Isaac, it is an international organization that has a nationwide organization, and as well as there's a NTU branch. Yeah. So for Isaac, we actually organize activities across Singapore, and we will get to know more people from different universities. So throughout my experience in Isaac last semester, I get to know more people from different universities, for example, NUS, SMU, and SIM. And we get the chance to organize an event, a beach cleanup with all of them as well. Then another great opportunity in Isaac is that we get a chance to meet people from different countries as well. So because Isaac is an international organization, so we will have the chance to talk to them via Zoom because now it's still like a post-pandemic time. So, but when back to pre-COVID time, we have actually have the chance to go overseas to really experience the life in like different countries. Yeah. Then for my second CCA, which is RSPID, so it's a voluntary portfolio from Welfare Service Club, WSC. So I get the chance to meet people who is intellectually disabled, and they are really the group of people who is less advantaged, who really need our help. Then I really enjoy the process of helping them, organizing events and games for them to get involved in the activities in the community. So it's give me a sense of like satisfaction when I see them putting on their smiley face, and really because of my help. So if you really want to help people out there in the community, so do join WSC.
All right, so for me, I also joined quite a few CCAs. I think there's quite a trend that you will see here in NTU. So for me, in my first year of school, I was part of my school's management club, which Kim mentioned earlier, Communication and Information Club, also known as CI Club. So I was there as the Performing Arts Director, and the reason that I was inclined to join was because when I first joined the school, I was very new to the school, and I really wanted to get a taste of the school spirit that the infamous Wee Kim Wee school always seems to have. And what better way than to join your school club, you know? So I think it's not just for my school, but for all the other faculties and schools as well. If you are interested in being a part of your school culture, in getting to know your schoolmates, having a better sense of belonging to your school, I think a very easy way to do that is to join your school club. It gives you a chance to connect with like-minded people and really network with your peers and your seniors and juniors as well. Yeah, so now we've passed on the baton to the next batch of the club, but I am still involved in my school's collective of musicians. So we are called We Jam because we jam together. Yeah, and I'm also part of my hall's jam band. So every hall should have a jam band. If you're interested, do check out Hall 10's jam band. But yeah, so I'm really representing my performing arts CCAs here today. If you are interested in performing, singing, dancing, playing an instrument, I think NTU gives you a lot of chances to do that and really gives you the stage to do so. And all you have to do is take the first step to join those CCAs. And of course, come to NTU first. Yeah, and I think besides that, there are also many other event committees that you can join. So personally, from my experience, I've also been in last year's open house committee and also the COHES festival, which is basically a festival for all the humanities schools. So if you're looking for something that's a bit more lower commitment, that's an option for you as well. Yeah.
I think for me, I'm more heavily involved in my school CCA. So the first one that I want to mention here is the Teaching Scholars Program Club. Yeah, so I joined the Teaching Scholars Program Club because I feel that the NIE community is a very close-knitted one, and I really enjoy seeing people like come together and bond together. Yeah, so I joined the CCA as a social and welfare director. Yeah, so in the club, I actually help to plan for social and welfare events. So for example, the recent ones that we had was the Halloween event, which was actually very well received because it's the first event, it's one of the first few events after post-COVID. Yeah, so it was really heartwarming for me to see like my peers as well as my seniors come together and like just have fun together. Yeah, and we also have like welcome back to school events whereby we give like welfare packs and like encourage them to like, let's all work hard and play hard together during the SEM so that, everyone just enjoys the process and don't feel so stressed out. Yeah, so that's one of them. And personally for me, just like Sophie, I think my heart goes out to those that are around me. So I joined the NIE Service Learning Club as a local projects executive. So currently I'm there to help like plan out for some of the local projects that they have. And I'm currently in charge of this outreach project in collaboration with this organization called Tasik Jurong. It's basically to reach out to families in the Jurong West communities to see if they need any help for in terms of like child development. Yeah, so I think these are some of the CCAs that are really meaningful. And if you think that you want to really experience like the CCA life here in NTU, just do join them. Yeah, I think everyone is very welcome to join any CCA around here in NTU.
Okay, so for me, I'm actually the vice president of my Hall 5 Hall Council. So what we usually do is we plan events, and like Yongjin has mentioned, like we plan events such as back to school, or like we plan events such as Chinese New Year. So to integrate the Hall 5 residents and also make them feel a sense of belonging so that they don't feel too stranded or alone in hall. And we also act as points of contact between the school affairs or student affairs office and also residents to resolve any issues. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, just like Jordan, I was also involved in Hall Council for a few years, but I'll be sharing a bit more about that maybe later. This year instead, I'm actually in WSC, just like Sophie, which is the Welfare Services Club. So my portfolio is called Regular Service Project for the Deaf Community, RSPDC. And what we do is we provide like voluntary tutoring to kids who are like hard of hearing or deaf, using a mixture of like spoken language, spoken English, and sign language. So because of that, I've actually been taking up like Singapore Sign Language Level 2 right now, and I think it's been pretty fun. So if you're interested, just take the first step.
Damn, so you know sign language?
Yes. I mean, I've been learning for the past year or so.
Okay. In that case, can you teach us something today?
Do you have a phrase in mind?
Maybe welcome to NTU.
Okay, sure. So welcome is like this. Like you take 3 fingers and you put it towards your body, and then 2 is 2 fingers together. N, which is like this. T. I don't know if y'all can see on the screen, but P and U. So that's welcome to NTU. Okay. It's okay. Just take out the first lesson. You'll be fine, guys.
All right. It seems that everyone here is so involved in community life and student life here in NTU as well. And it seems that Akshay is really good at sign language, right? But I have another sign or another physical hand language to show everybody, which is this. You know why? Because everybody here has a heart of gold. That's right.
Marcus, ask me what's my sign.
Yeah, what's your sign?
Please enter NTU.
Well, with that, I'm sure all of us have seen how fully immersive student life in NTU can be, regardless of your courses as well as your backgrounds. And with that, I'm sure it is only natural for us to question how one individual juggles with all their varying commitments, as you can see from all our panelists here today. How do you manage your time? How do you manage your responsibilities? What is some advice you would give to prospective freshmen coming into NTU and transiting into a university environment? So, Edna, would you like to share?
Okay, so when I first came to NTU, I was really, really excited to join as many CCAs as I can. I am going to admit that yes, I did struggle with time management a bit. But I think if I could go back in time and give my year 1 self some advice, I guess I would tell her that uni events, they are very, very fun, but I think something that is important to understand is that it's also on a much bigger scale as compared to what we are all used to in like secondary school or JC or poly. And so I think it's before you take up any role or responsibility, something that's important to note is to understand exactly what you're getting yourself into. So ask a lot of questions, make sure you understand the job scope, the details, what it entails. And even though uni events are much bigger and on a much higher scale and with higher stakes, you also need to remember that you are not alone. So in everything that you do in all your CCAs, you have a team supporting you. You are, one gear in the entire engine. I'm not sure. I don't do engineering, but yeah. And so something that's very important is that if you're ever unsure of anything, just ask. Ask your seniors, ask your friends, ask other people who are in similar positions but in different clubs. I think being NTU, being surrounded by people who are all around the same age range is a blessing because it's a very safe space. Everyone is learning, everyone is growing together, everyone is trying our best together. And so just don't be afraid, don't be embarrassed if you are overwhelmed, ask questions. And if ever you feel that you are struggling, of course, schoolwork comes first. And you can always reach out to the people around you for help in order to see how you can maybe shift things around or reprioritize certain things in your uni life. Yeah.
So I really, really resonate with what Edna said. I would say just make sure to always prioritize yourself first. Your studies matter more. Your physical health matter a lot too, and your mental health is always something that you need to take note of. I think oftentimes when we first enter university, we're really very excited and want to pick up a lot of things, but do remember to always sound out to any of the seniors in case you ever need any help. I like to kind of like view my university life in a form like a triangle to put into perspective for you. So this one is like work, this one is like play, and this one is like sleep. So I just try to maintain this balance. It's like an equilibrium. I'm not even an engineering student either, but similarly, I try to maintain this balance. So oftentimes, if I need to dedicate more time to like work, then I will maybe sleep a bit less for that day, or maybe if like I'm very tired for the day and I also want to work hard, then okay, maybe I will just sacrifice my social time for the day. But of course, just maintain that little triangle. That will be my pro tip.
Wow. It seems some of our seniors here are really seasoned and experienced in balancing student life here in NTU. And touching a little bit about mental health, etc., we have various resources available here in NTU to support our students' needs as well, such as the University Welfare and Wellbeing Office, as well as peer tutors and peer helpers along in the various faculties, which serves as another form or another ring of a community support system here in NTU. So, we all know that NTU Students' Union and the other CCAs here in NTU organize many activities throughout the year. And this contributes to the vibrant student life that we have here in NTU. So, we do have another person who is also very special in this sense, because she was very actively involved with the Student Union as well, and that member is Kim! Yay! So, let's ask Kim, what is one of the most memorable events that you have done with SU and why? And what was the impact on the NTU community?
In terms of memorability, wow, I have so many good memories while joining the time here. But I would think that maybe in my second year, when I was, so just a recap, when I was in the communications team as the vice president, so that was a bit daunting for me at the start. It felt like there were so many things going on and I was kind of like thrown into all this mess. I think memorability-wise, definitely organizing, doing the communications for open house last year, like because it was kind of like a hybrid style. There were things going online, there were things going offline, so there was so many different things going on. It was really interesting to work with the team then. I remember all the late hour of nights that we stayed up together, all the suppers that we had. We went on so many different shoots all around the secret spots in NTU, which you can watch in NTU's YouTube channel. The videos are still up. And yeah, there's a lot of different series of videos that you can actually watch. We have some about food, we have hall tours, we have tours around the North Spine and South Spine. So do give our YouTube channel a check. Yeah, so I think open house was very memorable. In terms of joining NTU Student Union, we have 13 other committees for you to choose from. So there are things like orientation committee, there are things like open house that you can also join. We also have other things like operations, U-shop, and there's a variety of things, and I'm pretty sure you can find something that is fitting for you. In terms of my term there, I remember I have too many memories, but maybe I'll just share that another time.
Sure, or we can have some time to share about that if we do have time. Or if you want to hear more about Kim's experiences with the Students' Union, comment down below and then we'll see if we have time to weave that into the entire conversation here today. Now, as you can tell here, another very defining feature about student life here in NTU, I think most of us will agree, is hall life. And lucky for us, we have two panelists here today. Again, you see, the panel is very well stacked to answer all of your questions, right? So, we have two panelists here today who are from the hall councils, who are Akshay and Jordan respectively. And so let's start with Akshay first, by giving us an overview, a broad overview in the sense of what the hall council does and how it enhances student life and vibrancy here in NTU.
Okay, yeah, sure, Marcus. So, I was in my Hall 15 council for the first 2 years of my schooling life. First year, I was a social director, which meant I was planning events for the hall. And in my second year, I took on the role of president, which is more of like a people role, people management kind of thing. I would say a hall council is pretty much to act as a student body for the residents' concerns and stuff like if they have any problems, they can let the council know. And beyond that, it's also like a body to kind of build the hall culture, I would say. So like the events you see or like the welfare packs, this kind of thing, it's all behind the scenes work that the hall council does, I would say. Besides that, the hall councils altogether, they jointly also like organize the inter-hall games. So if you're interested to play like sports or like rec games competitively, this is definitely an area you could compete in.
Yeah, I really agree with what Akshay has said. So for hall council, in my year 1, I was a recreational secretary, and in year 2, I was the vice president. So I think as a recreational secretary for IHRG, which is inter-hall recreational games, if you're interested, do come down and play recreational games. And back then last year, Hall 5 was the convening hall for contract bridge. So if any of you wants to play at it competitively, do come and play for your hall in December if you're interested. Then as a vice president, I usually also do act as a point of contact between our FIR, which is faculty in residence, which are our professors staying in hall, and also student affairs office, SAO. And we also are also accountable with our residents for faulty equipment or any faulty complaints, and then we will raise it up to get the issue fixed to make their hall life more bearable and also enjoyable at the same time. Yeah, then also one of my most memorable experiences as hall council was planning events, as like Akshay has said. So we had this event named Splash. So it was a very first physical event after COVID. So back then, as we all know, during the pandemic, measures were really strict. And I think planning events were very tough because sometimes they might get rejected. But then that was our very first mask off event because once the rules have released, we were able to mask off and have physical activities at the SRC. And that was really one of the key highlights because we were able to see our residents have fun and interact with each other. And I would really like to thank my team for planning with me and pulling through this very fruitful event.
Wow, it seems that Hall Council really enhances the student life and vibrancy here in NTU through the various hall events that one can join if you are part of hall. And let me do a simple action like swing. You know why? Because NTU student life is coming back in full swing. Haha, get it? Yes, and the good news, as I'm sure everybody has heard today, or yesterday rather, is that we're going from DOSCON Orange back to DOSCON Green. Yes, and that is why I'm wearing green today, because it's green light, you know? All systems go. Great, great, great. So, having heard from our various hall panelists here, let's hear from our hall residents from their point of view. So, can I just check who here stays in hall? Can you give us a show of hands? Ah, that's right. I also stay in hall, by the way. Yes. So, what halls are you currently staying in or have stayed in, and what are your favorite parts of your hall?
For me, I'm currently staying in Pioneer Hall. And when I mentioned Pioneer Hall, maybe like some of the first impressions that come to mind is like, oh, Pioneer Hall is a hall primarily for scholars, so it's kind of boring. But I got to disagree on that because I think for Pioneer residents, we not just work hard, but we also learn how to play hard together. Yeah, so like I mentioned just now, the hall has a very rich culture already, even though it was just built in 2014. And yeah, I really enjoy like interacting with all the different residents and my friends around in hall as well. Yeah, and then the best part about Pioneer Hall is, I would think, it's this location, because it's the nearest hall that is, it's the hall that's closest to the entrance of NTU. So to everyone out there, there's actually a supper spot just about 10 minutes walk away from NTU. It's called The Extension, and there's some really nice food there. So I think for me, like sometimes when after I study for a whole night and I'm feeling very tired or hungry, I'll just like ask my friends out and then we'll just walk over to Extension for a quick supper break. Yeah, and we don't even have to worry about like catching the last bus back to NTU. So that's a very nice selling factor about Pioneer Hall. Yep, join Pioneer Hall, yay.
All right. For me, I'm in Hall 10. I was actually randomly allocated a spot in Hall 10, and I'm actually very thankful for that, even though it's the furthest from my school, Wikimwi, because it's a bit cheesy to say, but the people there really make Hall feel like home. Yeah. And I think it's a very comforting feeling to be able to go back to your hall room after a long day of school. And to not have to travel all the way back home. I think there are always people to eat supper with. That's one thing that's very important. There are always hall activities, hall events to go for. And of course, my weekly jam sessions with my band in jam band is one of the highlights of my week as well. Yeah, so just to give you a bit some insight into what look out for in hall. This year we have done night cycling, so we cycled from Punggol all the way to Marina Barrage. That was a bit crazy, but we did it nonetheless. We've also celebrated Chinese New Year together. We will be celebrating Valentine's Day together. Yeah, so these are all things that you can look out for, and also you can look out for our hall cats. They are all around the school, all around your halls. So yeah, hall is really quite enjoyable.
Great, and I just want to add on that hall is really a safe space for you to find out what you're interested in and explore different interests as well. So maybe next sem I will join jam band, but I think everybody here can attest that my singing is really, really, really bad. So let's just move on to the next question, shall we? Now, I'm getting a little bit hungry over here, and it seems that food is something that we all need, because if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right, food is something that's very important, right, for survival. And now, going through university life, participating in all these activities, we certainly need food to fuel us through these intense studying sessions, group projects, and of course CCAs. So guys, what would you recommend to our prospective freshmen or our visitors coming on to our open house on 25th February to try out here in NTU? Anybody wants to go first?
Oh, me. So I think I am quite a cheapskate person. So NTU students we are financially tight. So I like to purchase I like to buy this mixed economy rice from Crespian because they give very good. They give a lot. The portion is a lot, and also at the same time, the food is really delicious. So I would recommend you to go there if you can head down to Crespian, which is Crespian Pioneer Canteen. Yep.
As for me, it's quite hard to choose. I feel like NTU has a lot of food options, I would say one of my favorites is definitely the Co-op Cafe, which is in the Hive. A lot of my classes are in the Hive, so I find it very convenient to just go down and grab a meal and come back. So they have mostly Western food. Another one would be Hot Hideout. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. Definitely, it's a really famous mala place in NTU, and when you come to NTU, definitely make sure to try it.
Yeah, I really agree with what Akshay said. Oh, when he mentioned Hot Hideout, I'm salivating just thinking about it. Because I was on exchange last semester. The whole time I was just dreaming about the mala tang back home. I think after a long day at school, you just want something spicy just to give you that kick. And when you pair it with the Thai green milk tea, oh, it's that good. And I think something else that I really like is the Western food at the Quad Cafe. So sometimes when I'm feeling that little bit of I'm just feeling a little bit guilty for the day, I just want something a bit more crunchy, a bit more fried, then I would just go for the classic fried fish and chips at the Quad Cafe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think NTU has a lot of food options, but I'm a very indecisive person. So whenever I don't know what to eat, I always have these two meals that I go for. The first one is kway chap at the South Spine Canteen. If you like kway chap, please go and try it. It's so comforting. The soup is hot. They give it to you hot. But for the other people on the other side of campus, those not at South Spine, you can head down to Tamarind Canteen. Tamarind Canteen is near a lot of halls, so it's quite convenient. And please try the ayam penyet there. It's also really good. They have the black pepper sauce, the teriyaki sauce, a lot of sauces for you to try. Yeah.
Now, it seems that everyone has food recommendations to recommend for our prospective friends coming into NTU. Now, it seems that Kim mentioned that she went on exchange this last semester, right? Going to Sweden. Now, here's a fun fact. Did you know that NTU has over 350 partner universities in over 40 countries in which you can go for exchange for? And NTU has sent over 6,600 students over for exchange ever since the establishment of our exchange programs here. So with us moving back to Doston Green and borders opening up, exchange being part of university life is coming back to full swing. So if you want to go for exchange, please do feel free to look out for the various programs and come down to the open house, the physical open house, to find out more. Now, having filled our bellies and being full, it's time for us to stretch our brains a little bit. There are various study spots here in NTU for you to explore and to find out as well. So let's hear from our panelists on what is their favorite study spots here in NTU, shall we?
All right, so for me, I think my hall's reading room is very conducive for me. So every hall has a reading room, which is basically an empty room with desks and chairs and air conditioning and PowerPoints. So for me, as a person who gets distracted very easily, it's really a blessing. So if you stay in hall, do check out your hall's reading room.
I agree with what Edna says. So if you are looking for a quiet and accessible spot to study in, especially if you are residing in hall, do visit your study rooms. And I would also like to recommend another spot which is near the School of, I think it's under the School of Humanities, is the computer lab. So if you need a bigger screen, for example, and you only have a laptop, you can consider going down to the computer lab to use their PCs and also have a very conducive environment to study in.
I think for me, it would be the communications cube, which is in the Hive. It's a nice little area for people to study. There's large tables, you can sit with your friends and study. It's very convenient, I would say, and since it's not really a library, you can kind of have a not too loud discussion there. So I was just there yesterday.
Oh well, it seems that everyone has a wide variety of study spots as well. So if you'd like to find out where these secret study spots are, do come down to NTU's open house, physical open house on the 25th of February and join our various tours that will be available. So you can go around and explore and see where all these conducive study spots are here in NTU. Now, we also like to give a shout out to our NTU open house community, the NTU Student Union Open House community, who have prepared a wide variety of videos as well as information templates for you to access, with the information being linked down in the description below for you to access. And hopefully, when you come to NTU, you can explore these spots with us as well. Now, it seems that time kind of flies when you are having fun, sadly. So, we are now down to our last question for today's panel. Having heard so much about student life in NTU for the past 1 hour, perhaps I'll get our panelists here today to summarize in 10 words what they would love so much about NTU and the student life here in NTU, shall we? Let's start with Edna.
Okay, 10 words. I was thinking long and hard about this, okay? I think I've come up with a pretty good one. The people here in NTU are never bored. The people you meet, the people you meet here in NTU are never boring. 10 words. Yeah, but yeah, I think we're all very interesting people. Not to toot my own horn.
That's not 10 words.
But yeah, we're all interesting people. We're all
That's 100 words already.
Sorry, I need to sell us. But yeah, come down, come and meet us. If you're an interesting person, come to NTU. You enjoy yourself.
For me, I would say NTU is all about making friends. So my 10 words are: we stick it out together and live with lifelong friends. I think.
I think for me, 10 words is definitely not enough for me to describe my whole journey in NTU until now. But for me, to all the international students, come NTU, wait, it's not 10 words yet. So for me, it's amazing and exciting journey for you to explore in future. Yeah.
Okay, let me give it a try. I'll give you something a little bit interesting, all right? So if you come to NTU, got chance see my face. Jokes aside, but come to NTU, it's definitely a fun place to be.
Okay, so for me, my 10 words would be: in NTU, you can expect a fulfilling and rich experience.
Wow, I think everyone did so well. You all managed to do it in 10 words. Now the pressure is on me. Let me try to think really hard. Okay, how about this? Endless opportunities for everyone to experience a wholesome uni life.
Wow!
Well, I just want to caveat, right, with all these different 10-word phrases. I just want to say that NTU students can actually count to 10. So if you're concerned at home and wondering why we can't count to 10, don't worry, we can actually count to 10, all right? And for me, personally, I don't need 10 words to describe why you should come to NTU, because my reason to come to NTU is here. Everybody say hi to Leon again. Hi. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this live panel session. To our panelists, thank you so much for coming down on a Saturday and spending time with us here today, addressing the various concerns, the various frequently asked questions that individuals may have transiting and coming into NTU and university in general, and just providing us with so much insights on hall life, student life, CCAs, etc., to come down to explore here in NTU. Now, you see, I'm getting a little bit excited because I really want you to come down for NTU's open house on 25th of February. Once again, everybody, when is NTU open house? 25th of February 2023 from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
When exactly is 25th February?
Let's do the math again.
That's 2 weeks. Oh no,
Yeah,
that's so
2
long
weeks.
from now. But that's also so short.
Time is a figment of our imagination, guys. So to our audience, thank you so much for your questions. If you still have any burning questions regarding student life at NTU, do come down to our open house on 25th of February. Once again, I say 25th of February, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. to talk to our student ambassadors and experience student life at NTU for yourself. I really hope that this has been an enjoyable and meaningful session for all of you joining us wherever you are, either in Singapore or internationally. For more details, click on the various links that we posted on our social media channels or scan the QR code on the screen to access our microsite. And with that, Thank you once again for joining us in today's virtual panel session and breakout session. See you at our open house on 25th February. Bye, everybody. Bye.